Hello friends, welcome to ADO.NET tutorial. In this video, we will see how to find a row from data table by specifying the key column. That means here we are going to concentrate on this specific section. Data table exposes records via the property rows, right? So from data table you can access a collection of all the records using the rows property. We know that rows collection is of type data rows collection, right? You can iterate through this data rows collection and you can read single row. We already saw these rows collection in our course. Now we will use the find method, right? The find method of this collection takes primary key value and returns a single row. We are already talking about the data row collection, right? So from the data row collection, we can pick single record using the find method and supplying the primary key. So in our customer table, the primary key is customer ID. When find method does not find any row, it returns null. That means we can check null condition from the return result, right? Because we are supplying the key column, and if that key column doesn't exist in the table, then it will return null. The find method searches the primary key column in the data table, and hence the adapter should load this information via missing schema action. We already talked about missing schema action in our course multiple times, right? If you want to load the data table with constraint information, we should go with missing schema action. We already learned about missing schema action in this course, right? Once data row is fetched, we can grab column of data from that, right? Rows is a data row collection of rows, and each row is a collection of a column. So once row is fetched using the column data, you can pinpoint specific information. So in this example, when you click find by one key, right? Find by one key is the first panel's find method. And if you see, we are passing the txt customer id.text. So this will be the key column value because we are passing the id to the find method, right? Find method of data rows collection. So we are accessing the rows property of our data table TBL customer. TBL customer, we will populate it during the form load. That is not shown here. When we go to code, that time we will implement it. But what you have to concentrate is data table, we are accessing the rows collection, and on that rows collection we are making use of the find method. Then here we are passing the primary key value. So the primary key is customer ID as per the backend database. Next, if row not equal to null, that means the key that we supplied to the find method returned a valid data row. So if that is the case, we will come inside and we will clear the txt display. This is our multi-line text box. Right? Then we will make a call to display row. So display row is our custom method. So this custom method we will write when we go to the demo, and this takes a data row and bypasses the rows component and displays the content in the multi-line text box. That's all here in the theory part. Now let's go to the demo. So here we already designed the form, and this one is the data grid view. DGV customers, right? That's our data grid view, and this is the multi-line text box txt display with the multi-line property set to true. You can increase the size of the height. So here we have this multi-line text box in the bottom panel. Then these are all just a label, right? So we changed the background color and other stuff. So there are two labels. After that we have these are all if you see separate panels we are using. These are just for design purpose. You can design as you like, but the important stuffs are these. Why? Because we will be referring these in the code. TXT customer ID, btn find by one key, TXT contact, TXT city, btn find by many key, TXT search, TXT sort, btn select and sort, then btn row state added, row state modified, row state deleted. So these are all the control names. Now we will click the form and handle the load. So here if you see, we already included the namespace system.data.sql client. Next, in the form load, we'll be filling the TBL customer, and this will be the data table. We will declare this at class level. So here I'm choosing data table customer. Then if you look at here, we have a select statement, customer ID, company name, contact title, country, city from customers. So from customers table, we are picking all the records, and we are using the Northwind database here. So here in the backend, I'm just picking the Northwind database. Select star from customers, and you can see there are around 91 records. And from here we are picking specific column, but all the records, right? Select some specific columns from customers. There is no where condition. That means we are picking all 91 records. And when we are forming the adapter, we are specifying the select string as well as our connection string Northwind. So this connection string is formed in the properties. We specified that in our video multiple times in our previous videos. So you can bring up the property window and in the property window go to settings and form the connection string. Here if you see, we named it as n1 connection string, scope is application. You can click this dialog and form connection to your database. So if you are watching our course videos from starting, then you will know how to do that. Alright, now we specified the SQL string as well as a connection string from properties settings. That way we formed the adapter. Next, as already told in the slide, we are setting missing schema action with add with key. That means when we are filling the table will be filled with the schema information as well as primary key information. Alright, adapter.fill, right? When you make a fill, it will make use of this query and fills the TBL customer. Now at this stage our customer table is ready and that got filled. Now we need to bind it to the data grid view. Here if you see from our data grid view, DGV customers, this is DGV customers, right? DGV customers dot data source, we are giving our data table. After that we are accessing a specific column and we are setting the width for each column to suit the retrieved data. Say for example, for customer ID we are just giving 20, and for company name we are giving more width. We will rebuild this and see how it is displaying the data. Okay, we are getting, okay, we got argument null exception, right? That's because here we need to create new data table. Now let's run this and you can see the data table is filled, right? Now let's write the utility methods also. So here is our utility method display row. If you see, it is taking a single row, data row, and we have one more optional property, deleted rows, false. By default it will be false, but if we want to show deleted row, we can pass true here. Now let's explore this function. First we will be using if deleted rows not, right? If you don't want to show deleted row, this is the default. And here if you see, we are forming the string line of info. Row is passed here, right? This is a data row. From row we are reading the column information, row of customer ID, row of company name, right? All this column we are picking, right? Based on that, here we are forming the string. So the string is separated by this hyphen. I mean the columns are separated by this hyphen and we form one line of text, right? Then to our multi-line text box we are making call to text display append text line of info. Here we are passing. This else portion we will revisit later, or if you needed we can even remove it. Later we can write that. For now I'm just leaving it. So when we go to the row state, that time you will come to know there we will be displaying the data row version information. Original we will be displaying. Alright, so if you see, you can display both original as well as current. Alright, we will deal with this later. We know that our find method, I mean the find, these two find will give us a single row. For that, this one is enough, display row is enough, because it takes a row, single data row, and it displays that. But if you see, when we end up with this search and sort, it may return multiple rows. That means we need to write one more utility function which handles multiple rows. So here, if you see display rows, this one is display row, single row. This is display rows with a plural form that takes data rows. Here, this is a single row, and this one is an array of rows. And we again use bold display deleted, right? So by default, we are keeping it false. So here, iterate through array of row and display it. Txt display.text equal to empty. That means we are clearing out our multi-line text box. After that, we are iterating through this rows collection using the special for each row. And we make call to our display row, right? Display row, and we pass the Boolean flag as well as the single row data row we are passing it, and this will take care of displaying the content, right? That's all about display row as well as display rows. Both will display one or more. So display row will display single line of record here in the output window, and display rows will display multiple rows in the multi-line text box. Now we will go ahead and handle this find method. So here in the find method, if you see, as already told from our data table, we are getting the rows collection, then making call to find method and passing the txt value, whatever you provide there, that we are passing it. So it will give us a single data row because the find is based on a primary key. And when return row is not null, we are clearing the multi-line text box. Then we are making call to our display row. We are just passing the single row, and the deleted row will be false. We will land up here and display the content of the data row, which is filtered here in this text. So here the key here is from the data table rows collection. We are making use of the find method by supplying the primary key. All right, now we will rebuild this again and run it. Let's randomly pick some value, FSSIA, SA. So that's the customer ID, and when you click find, you can see the display the filtered record. From our data grid, we filtered one record using the primary key. Now let's try with one more. That is bullet, right? This one I am filtering now. And you can see how we are retrieving the record from our data table. Here we are not hitting the database because data is available in the data table. You can even write a query that filters the record by forming the where condition, right? And execute the adapter and display the information in one more data grid. But that will hit the database. Here if you see, instead of hitting the database, we are using the find method of the data table and retrieving the record from the already collected rows collection, right? From data table, we use the rows collections find method and we pick a single record. Here we are not hitting the database. That's all here in this video. In the next video, we will talk about this second section. Just now you saw the demo. Thank you for watching. Bye.